The boxing world is in shock as Gervonta Davis versus Lamont Roach ends without a winner. From razor-thin scorecards to Roach's unexpected dominance, many believe he deserved the victory. Here's what the pros are saying about why Roach should have had his hand raised. Before the fight, many saw Lamont Roach as a major underdog against Gervonta Davis. But when the final bell rang and the judges called it a draw, controversy erupted. Some fans and analysts argued Roach had done enough to pull off the upset. Among them was Shakur Stevenson, who didn't hesitate to call it like he saw it.
Now, I thought Lamont won. Who you thought won? Lamont.
You thought Lamont won? By how many rounds?
I don't know. I think he got overconfident. I think he was thinking Lamont wasn't that good. I told everybody how the fight was going to go. The fight went exactly how I said.
Shakur's comments add to a growing wave of voices questioning the decision. Was this a case of Tank underestimating his opponent, or did the judges get it wrong? Before the fight, most expected Gervonta Davis to dominate, but Lamont Roach proved he was no easy challenge. The fight was razor close, and when the judges scored it a draw, reactions were split. Danny Garcia was among those surprised by Roach's performance.
It was a close fight.
I'm not surprised the way Lamont fought. I knew Lamont was going to come to fight. It was the opportunity of a lifetime. He did a good job. He fought a great fight.
What was wrong with Tank Davis? I mean, I was
what was wrong with him?
Out.
Every night in boxing is not your best, you feel me? But at least you got the draw.
Would you like to see a rematch of this or jump into a fight with Shakur Stevenson?
They don't, whatever they want to do. You think it was a draw? I don't know. It was a good fight.
Appreciate it, Danny.
Garcia's reaction echoes the uncertainty surrounding the result. Did Tank have an off night, or did Roach do enough to deserve the win? Before the fight, few expected Lamont Roach to push Gervonta Davis to the limit. But after a hard-fought battle, the controversial draw left many questioning the decision. Boxing analyst Shan Zitt, who initially predicted a Tank knockout, saw the fight differently after watching Roach's performance.
I want to get to this controversial draw, and before I say this as somebody who picked Gervonta Davis to win this fight by knockout, who's been talking up Gervonta Davis's skills as both a front foot fighter out of the high guard like he showed against Frank Martin, and as a counter puncher like he's shown throughout his career. So despite all that, I thought that Lamont Roach won this fight. I thought he was the better man. I thought that he controlled the center of the ring better than Gervonta Davis. I thought that he backed up Gervonta Davis more than the other way around. And I thought he took the punching power of Gervonta Davis well and buzzed him a couple of times, not just once or twice. This should have been ruled a knockdown. That goes from, because Davis had one of his best rounds after that moment. He let a lot of combinations go, and it goes from a 10-8 round for Lamont Roach to a 10-9 round for Gervonta Davis. 3-point swing that allowed Davis to escape with a draw with his WBA title.
Zitt's breakdown only adds fuel to the controversy. Did the judges get it wrong? Or was this just another close fight where opinions will always be split? The controversial draw between Gervonta Davis and Lamont Roach has sparked debates across the boxing world, and former world champion Abner Mares didn't hold back in his reaction. For Mares, the result was clear. If the champion didn't get the win, then he didn't truly do enough to retain his status.
Well, you know what they say, brother, and it's true. If the champion got a draw, that means he didn't really win the fight. And I mean, I thought Roach did enough. I thought Roach closed the last 2 rounds. And then if you think about it, that knockdown was a knockdown. He took a knee, they should have counted, and you know, those 2 points, like Roach said, you know, it would have been on his favor and he would have won the fight.
Mares pointed directly to Roach's strong finish in the last 2 rounds as a key factor that should have swung the decision in his favor. But more importantly, he emphasized the missed knockdown, which could have drastically altered the final scorecards. According to Mares, had the officials counted it correctly, Roach would have taken the victory outright. Lamont Roach Sr. didn't hold back in his reaction to the controversial draw, making it clear that he believed his son had done more than enough to secure the victory. From his perspective, Lamont Roach Jr. executed the game plan perfectly, delivered a career-best performance, and should have had his hand raised in the end. But instead, the decision left them feeling robbed.
You said could have, I say we should have had our hand raised. We got a decision, but this boxing, we didn't. It was a great fight, like I expected. But I knew my son was game. Training camp, he was so focused and locked in. I knew that we was gonna put on a great performance, and it was kind of like stolen away from him a little bit with the decision. But the world got to see how good he is, so that's the plus to come out of this. So he really stamped himself in the boxing world more so with this performance. So So like I say, that's why it's bittersweet.
For Roach Sr., the frustration wasn't just about the result. It was about the moment being taken from his son after all the preparation and sacrifice. Despite the disappointment, he acknowledged that Lamont's performance had elevated his standing in the boxing world. But in his eyes, the rightful victory was denied, and that's what made the outcome a bitter pill to swallow. Jeff Mayweather weighed in on the controversial draw, siding with those who believed Lamont Roach did enough to win. From his perspective, Roach simply outworked Gervonta Davis, landing more punches and refusing to back down when Tank tried to impose his will. Unlike many of Davis's past opponents who folded under pressure, Roach fired back, making it a much tougher fight than expected.
And I do think that Roach actually won the fight. I thought he outworked Tank. Thought that he threw more punches than Tank. It seemed like Tank was fighting like he always do. It just seemed like he was just waiting for him to figure out whoever was in front of him like he always do and then go to work. But this time when he went to work, the guy went to work back. So, I mean, he had somebody that was firing back at him. It's the same way.
For Mayweather, this fight exposed a key difference in Tank's usual approach. Normally, when Davis decides to press forward, his opponents break under the pressure. But Roach didn't just survive, he answered back with his own offense, making it clear that he wasn't there to be another highlight reel knockout. And in Mayweather's eyes, that effort was enough for Roach to get the win. Despite the controversy surrounding the result, Gervonta Davis remained composed in his post-fight reaction, acknowledging that while he didn't get the decision he wanted, he also didn't suffer a loss. In his eyes, he had done enough to win, especially in the later rounds.
Didn't get what the decision I want, but we didn't get a loss either, so I felt like I won it, you know, the last couple rounds, so it's cool. Lamont's a great fighter. Hopefully I can get that rematch, because I know what I can do in a fight, but it's cool.
Tank's response hinted at both confidence and frustration. He credited Roach for being a great fighter, but made it clear that he believed a rematch would settle any doubts. While the judges saw the fight as a draw, Davis seemed convinced that he had figured Roach out by the end and would make the necessary adjustments in a potential rematch. Johnny Ortiz weighed in on the controversy, explaining that while he wasn't upset with the draw itself, the fight should have gone in Roach's favor if the rules had been applied correctly. He pointed to a key moment that he believed should have been ruled a knockdown, which would have changed the outcome entirely.
I'm not mad at the draw. Situation is, if they would have called that by the rule book, Lamont would have won, because it should have been called a drop, because by rule you can't take a break just because of something happening. Even they not throwing a punch, if you take a knee or just a call, whatever timeout, whatever break, it's supposed to be a rule of you getting dropped or whatever. So I think that's where the controversial, but I'm not mad at the draw.
Ortiz emphasized that the rulebook doesn't allow fighters to take a knee without it being considered a knockdown. In his view, this missed call played a major role in the fight ending in a draw rather than a victory for Roach. The debate over officiating only fueled the growing controversy surrounding the fight's outcome. ShowBizz the Adult, who had confidently bet $800 on Gervonta Davis knocking out Lamont Roach within 6 rounds, had a complete change of tone after witnessing Roach's performance. The fight didn't unfold as he expected, and by the end, even he had to acknowledge that Roach proved him wrong.
I bet $800 on Tank knocking out Roach under 6. Yeah, I put a bag on my kid.
Other than that, two-tone, ShowBizz, I might, come on, all right. They don't know nothing about boxing.
What? I'm gonna tell you this. I got cooked. Roach, you cooked. You right. You right. That was my bad. I really ain't got. Only thing I can say to you, Roach, my bad. You ain't got to see me, dog. What you did with Tank, you ain't got to see me, dog.
ShowBizz admitted that his expectations were way off, implying that Roach had exceeded all predictions and made even his harshest critics take notice. The fact that someone who had confidently backed Davis with money was now apologizing to Roach only reinforced the idea that the underdog had done more than enough to win. ShowBizz. The Adult didn't hold back, calling out the controversial moment in the fight where Gervonta Davis appeared to take a knee, but wasn't ruled as knocked down. He argued that the rules were clear and that the fight's integrity was in question.
Y'all explain to me how the hell that wasn't a knockdown. That was a knockdown, period. He took a knee for the break. That's a knockdown. You can't pump fake a knockdown. Everybody would be pump faking knockdowns. Y'all gonna be like, Tank was smart for that. You can't take a knee, pump fake a knockdown, and then walk to your corner in the middle of the round and scream for a towel, and they wipe you down?
He mocked those defending Davis, pointing out that a fighter can't just take a knee mid-round without consequences. His frustration peaked as he questioned the sport's credibility.
Any part of your body other than your feet touch the canvas following a landed shot is a knockdown. Who is fixing the fights now?
ShowBizz implied that Roach was robbed of a clear advantage, suggesting that the system was protecting Davis by not calling the knockdown. His reaction mirrored the outrage of many who believed Roach should have been given the decision. Claressa Shields came to Gervonta Davis's defense after criticism poured in following his controversial draw against Lamont Roach. She dismissed claims that Tank was overrated, standing firm on the idea that one fight doesn't define his greatness. She tweeted, "Not y'all saying Tank is overrated." Shields pushed back against the backlash, suggesting that Davis's performance shouldn't overshadow his track record. While many argued that Roach did enough to win, she implied that the draw wasn't an indication of Davis's decline, but rather just part of the sport. Her reaction highlighted the divide among fans and experts, with some believing Davis was protected by the judges while others, like Shields, saw no reason to diminish his status. Angel Garcia weighed in on the controversial draw between Gervonta Davis and Lamont Roach, emphasizing the danger of underestimating an underdog. He pointed out that Roach was overlooked leading into the fight but proved that anything can happen in boxing.
Underestimate the underdog, bro. He's hungry, you know what I mean? They wasn't giving him no credit. They were making us see it was a slouch, you could run over. You can't do that in boxing. Anything can happen. You can have a great night, believe that. You gotta believe in your soul, and I think the kid was in there with his soul tonight.
Garcia acknowledged that Roach fought with heart and belief, making it a competitive contest. While he didn't outright say Roach deserved the win, he suggested the fight was close enough to justify the result.
It was a good fight, don't get me wrong. And to me, it could have went either way.
Either way?
Could have went either way.
So you okay with a draw?
Yeah, I mean, it's cool. I mean, a draw is not a loss or a win. For the fighters, it's like...
No. I know you're not okay with the draw, Paul. Let me make sure I clear that up. You're okay with the draw in this fight?
I think they did right.
Yeah.
It could have went either way. They chose a draw, one judge. So I think it's cool.
Unlike others who felt Roach was robbed, Garcia seemed content with the outcome, arguing that a draw wasn't a loss for either fighter. His reaction added to the ongoing debate, with some agreeing the decision was fair and others calling it a robbery. Demetrius Andrade shared his thoughts on the Gervonta Davis versus Lamont Roach draw, acknowledging that Roach brought more to the table than many expected. He pointed out Roach's power, effective distance control, and overall preparation, which made the fight highly competitive. While some argued that Roach should have won, Andrade refused to say he pulled it off, but didn't fully agree with the draw either.
Yeah, it was a great fight. Roach had something that we all wasn't expecting. He might have had power. His distance was good. He came in ready, prepared to fight, and he showcased that. And man, we had a good fight overall. It was a good IQ fight.
In all honesty, do you think Roach pulled it off?
I'm not going to say that at all. I don't think that the draw is good, you know. Other than that, it was a great fight. We'll love to see it again.
Unlike those who saw the decision as a robbery, Andrade focused on the fight itself, suggesting a rematch would be the best way to settle the debate. Edgar Berlanga didn't hold back when reacting to Gervonta Davis's performance against Lamont Roach. Clearly unimpressed, Berlanga dismissed Tank's showing and even took a direct shot at him. He straight up called Davis a pussy ass, making it clear he wasn't buying into the hype around Tank's performance. Berlanga's reaction reflects the growing criticism from fighters who expected a dominant display from Davis, but instead saw him struggle in a fight many believe he should have lost. His words add to the firestorm surrounding the controversial draw, fueling the debate on whether Davis is slipping or if Roach was simply better than advertised. Isaac Cruz, who has shared the ring with Gervonta Davis, was surprised by Lamont Roach's performance and didn't agree with the judge's decision.
Pues ahora sí que dieron una gran pelea, ahora sí que me sorprendió la pelea que dio Lamont Roach y bueno, fue una gran pelea para toda la aficionada.
¿Tú crees que fue un empate?
No, yo creo que no, creo que le quedaron a deber la caída a Lamont Roach, pero bueno, decisión de los jueces y del referee que no le hizo válida la caída, no le hizo el conteo.
Cruz's reaction adds to the controversy, as he not only credited Roach for his unexpected showing, but also pointed out what many see as a missed knockdown call. With multiple fighters and analysts questioning the outcome, the debate over whether Davis was gifted a draw continues to heat up. Jamel Herring took the moment to remind fans of his past victory over Lamont Roach, responding to those who had doubted Roach's worthiness as an opponent for Gervonta Davis.
Hey yo, first and foremost, shout out to Lamont Roach and Tank. That was a great fight. I enjoyed it. But yo, I'm making this video because for the whole build-up, y'all were killing me over my victory over Lamont, saying that he wasn't worthy of the Tank fight. But at the end of the day, I don't care what y'all say, I got that W. That's all I'm saying.
Lamont Roach stepped into the ring as the underdog, but by the end of the fight, he believed he had done more than enough to take the victory over Gervonta Davis. Throughout the build-up, many had dismissed his chances, expecting Davis to dominate. However, Roach not only held his own, but also put together a performance that had fans and analysts questioning the final decision. In the aftermath, he made it clear that he felt he had outworked Davis and deserved the win.
In there, man, I thought I won. I thought I did enough to get the victory over a spectacular fighter. I told y'all from the beginning, man, that I got the skills to pay the motherfucking bills. I've been telling y'all that. And I'm just glad I got to show it, honestly. I'm glad I got to show it. I appreciate, like I said before, I appreciate true boxing media. Some guys that didn't count me out. So that's just how I feel, man. I think I won. And I can't wait to do it again. I can't wait to dance again.
Despite the official verdict being a draw, Roach sees this as a breakthrough moment, proving he belongs at the top level. With confidence in his performance, he is already looking forward to a potential rematch, eager to settle what he believes should have been a clear victory. Leading up to the fight, Lamont Roach had no doubts about his ability to handle Gervonta Davis. He had spent years preparing for moments like this, sparring against much bigger fighters and proving to himself that his chin could withstand serious power. Despite Davis's reputation as one of the most dangerous punchers in boxing, Roach wasn't intimidated.
Going into the fight, I knew I had what it takes. Like I said, I knew I had a chin. I spar guys that were like junior middleweights, like current champions that was at that weight. So I know I can take a punch. He's twitchy in there. Like I do see why he knocked people out. Like being up close and personal, obviously I seen it on the TV and shit like that, but I understand why he knocked people out. I'm not gonna tell y'all because y'all gonna tell him. But I just knew that I can be in there, and I knew that I can do better than him to win rounds, win exchanges, because he fighting spurts.
Roach saw the openings in Davis's style firsthand, his ability to explode in short bursts but then ease off the gas. That's where Roach believed he had the advantage, and in his eyes, he capitalized on those moments to outwork Davis over the course of the fight. While the judges saw it as a draw, Roach left the ring feeling like the real winner, confident he had exposed holes in Davis's game. Lamont Roach made it clear that he believed he had done enough to secure the victory, but one controversial moment stood out, what he saw as a clear knockdown that wasn't counted. In a fight this close, that single call could have made all the difference. Roach stated in his post-fight press conference, "But if that was counted a knockdown, I would win a majority decision." Roach knew the margins were razor thin, and in his mind, the official ruling on that sequence cost him the biggest win of his career. With the fight declared a draw, he was left wondering what could have been, while making it clear he's ready to do it all over again. Gervonta Davis, known for his explosive knockout power, found himself in uncharted territory against Lamont Roach. With expectations sky high, Tank was expected to dominate, as he always does. However, the fight didn't unfold as expected, leaving Davis to reflect on what went wrong, even as he felt confident in his abilities. The result was a draw, which was far from the decisive victory Davis is accustomed to.
Lamont is a great fighter. Hopefully I could get that rematch, because I know what I can do in a fight. But it's cool. Nobody like a draw, from a guy that get knockouts and things like that, but it's cool. I feel like if we fight again, I could do more, and I should have did more. I was lost in the. I lost track in the rounds. That's why we need what is it called? Yeah, man. I didn't know what round it was.
Davis, usually the one dishing out the punishment, found himself in a real test against Roach, and the result clearly wasn't up to his standards. He admits that he lost track of the rounds, a rare slip-up for a fighter of his caliber. His frustration was evident as he reflected on the draw, acknowledging that he should have done more. The notion that a champion like Davis could lose track of rounds and still fight through it speaks volumes about the challenge Roach presented in the ring. And though Tank feels the draw doesn't reflect his potential, he's already focused on the future, eager for a rematch to show what he's truly capable of. After the unexpected draw between Gervonta Davis and Lamont Roach, Gervonta's coaching team stepped in to shed light on what they believed led to the contested outcome. Instead of placing blame, they offered a more detailed perspective on the factors that shaped the fight, focusing on the strengths and experience of Roach, as well as the long-standing rivalry between the two.
I told you then, Lamont is a very skillful fighter. He can fight, he's from the area. In that DMV area, there's a lot of talent, and nobody wants to lose. Nobody wants to lose. So I knew it was gonna be a hard fight. This has been going on forever. We all help each other. They know our strengths, they know our secrets, we know theirs, and vice versa. So that is what made for a good fight. I thought it was a great fight, spirited fight, and I like to see it run back again.
Gervonta's team wasn't underestimating Roach's potential. They recognized the skill and competitive spirit Roach brought to the ring. Hailing from the DMV area, known for its rich boxing talent, Roach was far from an easy opponent. The familiarity between the two fighters added another layer of intensity to the matchup. With a shared understanding of each other's strengths, it became a battle of wits as much as it was of physicality. For Gervonta's coaches, the draw was a reflection of the high stakes and talent involved, acknowledging that it was a great fight with plenty of potential for a rematch, one that could unfold even more spectacularly in the future. In the aftermath of the draw, Gervonta's trainer Calvin Ford offered insight into his fighter's mindset and strategy throughout the bout with Lamont Roach. Ford explained that despite Gervonta's powerful shots and expectations for a knockout, Roach proved to be a resilient opponent, refusing to go down and challenging Tank in ways that weren't anticipated.
Tank was coming back since the sound. His shots, Tank's shots was incredible. He was hitting Lamont with some nice shots that, like we said, we thought he would have went out with.
And he took him.
He took him. And in his mind, he said, Tank is not gonna knock me out. You know what I'm saying? So it's like a victory for him. You know, and if you look at it, that was a very skillful fight that we watched. That Tank had to do 12 rounds.
Ford emphasized that Roach, despite enduring Tank's heavy punches, displayed incredible resilience, and in a way, that became a victory for him, surviving against a fighter known for his knockouts. Ford also pointed out that Tank was forced to go the full 12 rounds, which, for a fighter with knockout power like Davis, is no small feat. The fight, in Ford's view, was a testament to both fighters' skill and determination, particularly highlighting Tank's ability to adjust and persist throughout the full length of the fight. After the post-fight analysis and the reactions from both sides, it's clear that this draw between Gervonta Davis and Lamont Roach has sparked major debate. Was the draw the right call, or did Tank really deserve the win? Did Roach prove he's a legitimate threat, or did Davis just fail to capitalize on his opportunities? Tank's knockout streak might have been halted, but this fight exposed cracks in his game. He couldn't finish Roach, and his lack of round awareness cost him big. Meanwhile, Roach's resilience and skill impressed many, leaving some questioning if he could have done more if the fight had gone differently. So here's the big question. Did Gervonta Davis truly get outboxed, or was this a case of him underestimating Roach's ability to push back? Is Tank still the pound-for-pound king, or does this draw show he's vulnerable? Let us know what you think. Did the judges make the right call, or was this fight a robbery?